it could be a soup, I mean, a soup packet or some biscuits. Lots of people just have, different, an entire packet of biscuits. And without knowing all the invisible ingredients that go into making these products that have a shelf life. Please listen in carefully. Any product that has a shelf life of more than 2 or 3 days has to have some preservative. Yes or no? How many of you agree? Type Y in the comment section. How many of you agree that whatever has a shelf life, which is mass produced, always has some amount of preservatives, chemicals, ingredients, all of that added to it. And the longer and deeper and more extensive the shelf life, the more these ingredients and less of the natural product that it really has. So if you have a granola bar that is going to last you for 6 months, then it has got 6 months lasting capacity of preservatives and very little of whatever it is supposed to be, whether it's oats or whatever. And even if the oats are there, because of the preservatives, the entire product becomes a different chemical unit. I don't know how many of you have come to my previous sessions here with Satya sir, and I have always mentioned that your food energy is converted into the chemical energy of the body. But in this product that you're having, there is more chemical energy already. There is very little food energy, lots of chemical energy and chemical compounds. So, the conversion process in the body is affected because the body sees anything that's coming in a chemical form as a toxin. Our human body is still not able to process that. So anyway, what I'm trying to say to you is that I understand that there are times when we will have to eat outside of our own wonderful kitchens. There will be a time when you're traveling, when you go out and you've forgotten your lunchbox, or when you're with other people who are also eating these kinds of foods. You will at that point in time be in a tight spot and you will have to eat those things. Or there might be times when you don't have help at home, or people at home are sick. You have to manage your own food. At that point, you have to make some intelligent choices about how to choose packaged, ultra processed and processed food. So this, I'm going to do a deep dive into this topic of understanding food labels, because that has become mandatory now. And I'm really glad that even in India, even the smallest producer, home producer, has to give a bit of a food label so you can connect with whatever is going in there, right? So I don't think we are sharing this recording. So please note down the details of there are certain ways of looking at labels. Please note these down carefully. So you always make a good choice going forward. Okay, so how many of you are ready to understand what is there in your food label? How many of you are ready? Please type RR in the comment section and give me a moment. Let's all be interactive, guys. Come on, it's about you and your health. If you are not going to interact, then how will you get healthy? I don't know. So let's interact. Come. Just give me a moment. Let me get all this right. While I start sharing this with you. Yeah. Can you see? Are you able to visit? Are you able to see this? Understanding food label. Okay, so let's get started and see what food labels really do. So like I explained, the food label is supposed to be telling you what is the health of this particular product you are taking. You don't really need these nutritional facts about a tomato or an avocado, or as you can see, walnut or cashews or bananas. You don't need a nutrition facts label for these natural foods, because we know that whatever is produced by nature is is supremely healthy for us. Our bodies are designed, our bodies, our minds, our interactive, bi-directional communication of the brain to body, body to brain, all of that just loves this natural food. And like I said earlier, that there will be times, right? There will be times when you forget your dabba, or you forget something, or you're sitting with people when you might have to choose the convenient alternative, alternative because it is packaged, you don't have to do anything with it, because it has a shelf life, and but you don't really know what is there in that product. You don't know how much carbohydrate is there, or you don't know how much of all of those ingredients, add-on ingredients that are there in this product. You don't know them, because and you can't trust a package like you can trust, the tomato or the potato or kanda that you buy from the vegetable vendor. You can't trust what's in the package. You eat natural foods intuitively, but you have to eat packaged foods intelligently. How many of you agree with this? Just type in the comment section. You have to choose packaged foods very intelligently, but you can eat natural foods very spontaneously. So this is, I have already done a lot about natural food. Now I'm going to take a deep dive into what a nutritional label stands for. So of course, it tells us what is there inside the product. But see, for example, we've seen that, if you get like a brown bread or a whole wheat bread, a lot of people turn around and say, isme brown color dala hua hai. It is not really whole wheat. So uh, just because somewhere in the packaging it is mentioned that it is whole wheat, doesn't make it 100% whole wheat. You see, even if 20% of wheat is whole wheat is there in the brown bread, people can say it is brown bread. Okay. So there's a lot of this kind of veiled communication. Veiled, that means the communication is not very transparent. That happens on mass produced products. I'm not getting into whether it's intentional or whether it is political or whatever it is, but that is the fact of the case, that the ingredients that are mentioned in any of these packaged goods, packaged food, highly palatable, extremely tasty, unput downable kind of foods, are not really giving you the whole story of what there is in that. Okay. So don't get fooled by 5-grain bread and 6-grain something, and that you have to really go deep into how much of that multigrain is there in this multigrain produce. Okay, sometimes low fat, low sugar free doesn't mean it is heart friendly, because understand that fat is required, a certain chemical format is required for the stability of a product. So just because a product, it could be low in fat, but it could be high in something else, like maybe a sodium or a preservatives or some trans fats that you cannot see. If a produce is low in sugar, to get the taste value, it can be high in fat, because low sugar, low fat, nobody's going to eat that. Nobody's going to eat that. Even in nature's produce, there is always some fat, some protein, some carb. Of course, the proportions keep changing. And fresh and natural, I mean, how can something that has a 6-month shelf life be fresh and natural? Think about it. So just because people use a little bit of strawberry, a little bit of fresh, grain, they just packages just flash this whole advertising that this is fresh and natural, and we go for it because we are tuned to listen to words like fresh, natural, low fat, multigrain. We are it's like a magnet. It attracts us. We only see that and we don't see the rest of the thing. And while I'm here, I want to share a story with you. While I was in my nutrition, in my when I was in my, of course, in my uh, in the course of my counseling, sorry, I had a young client of mine who said, she wanted to go by some recipes that she's doing because she wanted to introduce a smoothie brand. She wanted to introduce a smoothie brand, and she sent me on email a list of flavors, and believe me, there was every flavor in available. So from blueberries to mulberries to strawberry, everything that was in season, out of season, in this country, out of this country, all of that was available. uh, in that email, that she had a recipe for all these kinds of smoothies. So then when she came, I said, how are you going to get all these ingredients? She's saying there's nothing. See, she showed me a bunch of powders, dehydrated flavored powders, which had taken, which were all synthetic. They were all synthetic. And she was going to use this and make a natural smoothie. She was going to take this and make a natural smoothie brand and serve all this to people on order on a platform like Swiggy or whatever that was. So every piece of this that she had was artificial, synthetic, and had a shelf life which was like 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. And I think of, if I buy a bunch of strawberries, I'm lucky even if they last for 2 days. I'm lucky if my strawberries last for 2 days, but here, this was lasting her forever and ever and ever. So this was the whole purpose, of my telling you this, is that anything that has a shelf life always is synthetic, whether it is milk or even your Tetra Pak milk has a 6 month shelf life. So that is a bit concerning for those of us who use a lot of those things, who use a lot of that. It is concerning. Okay, so let's move on to some more information. So food labels were originally started in the United States in 1994, Nutrition Food Labels, or NFL. And this gave a countdown, a detailing of the calories in that serving, in each serving. So when you take a package, you have the calorie value of the entire package, and you have the calorie value of a serving in that package. And a lot of information gets slipped between calories and serving. So if a package, let's say, has 500 calories and there are only 2 servings, that means each serving is 250 calories, right? But if the same package has 500 calories and it has 4 servings, then that's much less. Sometimes you might have 500 calories and just 1 serving. So you really have to be careful about the calories to servings ratio when you're getting into that. A lot more about this is coming up for you, but just to give you a little bit of a history, 1994 is when it started in the United States. In India, the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India started much later the practice of labeling, and that happened sometime in September 2008. I'm really happy to tell you that now, today, everything is getting more and more standardized in terms of every packaged food product needs a label so that you know the health value of what is there inside. Okay, everything clear this far? Please type CC in the comment section so I can proceed. If there's anything you want me to want me to restate, let me know. Okay. It's boring with info, meaning what is he saying? Voice cracking. What does that mean? Okay, so let's continue. Yeah, so to understand food labels, you have to understand the different types of processing. There's many types of processing. There is a simple process, ultra processed, ultra palatable, minimally processed. So let's look at what that is. Okay, so your typical food is mostly things, vegetables, what you buy from your bhaji wala, from your kirana shop. All those things are minimally processed. Everything will be processed. Anything that is cleaned a little bit, anything that has a little bit of fumigation or something done. Because remember, each food group now has air miles to it, because it's coming to you from totally another city. There is a lot of air miles. It's traveling a lot. The food is traveling a lot. So there will be a little bit of processing done to preserve that food, freezing it, keeping it in certain specific storage boxes. All of that makes it, minimally processed, but that kind of processing is not really very dangerous. That is required. Like even at home, when we have our rice, people put neem ka patti in the rice and the dal so that it doesn't spoil easily. That in a sense is a natural way of processing that food. Okay, right. So the next thing is actually processed food. So whenever, even in your kitchen, when you take your phool gobi and you chop it, you already started the processing of that phool gobi. And then by the time you make it into a vegetable, by adding oil and heat and spices and bagar and garnish and all those things, you're already processing the food. But this much of processing is not detrimental to health. In fact, it is good, because sometimes when you cook foods like tomato and olive oil, that Italian Mediterranean combination is especially wonderful for health and heart health. So cooking and processing tomatoes and olive oil together in a wonderful dish that you can, add to as a sauce or whatever it is that you're eating, really helps you with your health. But when we come to the ultra processed section, when we come to the ultra processed foods, and these are foods, like I explained about the flavorings of my client friend who was going to start her own smoothie outlet with pre-flavored powders. So that is what happens, that there's extrusion, there's molding, there's exposure, in large factories. Excuse me. And there's dehydration, and there is a certain coating of oil, and then all of that along with antioxidants so that it doesn't spoil, and class 1, class 2, class 3, etc., preservatives, to see that it stays fresh in a little box, in a little package. Okay, so that is ultra processed food. Ultra processed foods are also foods like your burgers and your hot dogs and all these chicken nuggets and pre-packaged, pre-made food that you say, okay, you just take this packet, put it garam pani mein dal do, cook it, and it's ready. That definitely is ultra processed. And a side product of ultra processed foods is that it is highly palatable. You can't stop eating it, because there are things that these companies do called bliss factor. They add a certain proportion of salts and certain ingredients in such a way that you never feel satisfied, and you have to go on and on and on and on eating it over and over and over again. So you don't get that feeling of satiety after eating this meal, and so automatically it lends itself to extra calories. And that's another reason why you need to be really careful about what you choose, when you choose it, and why you're choosing it. And if you have to choose it, what is the most intelligent way to choose that? Okay, any questions up until now? Any questions? Yeah, okay. How many, let me ask, I mean, how many of you need to have packaged foods at least once a week? At least once a week. Please type me in the comment box. How many of you need to, you just for whatever reason, whether you like it or yes, yeah, is at work you need to have packaged foods. Exactly. And this could be anything, right? Biscuits or getting a burger or ordering a pizza and so on. Yes. Okay, Ashok Kumar, let me take this one question of yours. What is it? Yes, Ashok, sir, you raised your hand. Is it to say me? Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Toast. Yeah, toast, butter, so many things. We all have that. Sometimes we like them also. Khari biscuit. How many of you, we have that khari biscuit and chai duboki? You love it. It's so delicious. Chai biscuit is a wonderful, it's something that we all love. But the point is because we love it so much, it's not just one. I am unmuted, sir. Acha, Ashok Kumar wants, Satya sir, where is Ashok? Raise your hand again now. I'll see if I can unmute you. Okay. Yes, sir. You're unmuted.
Thank you, madam. So I usually watch your Instagram videos. I say that I am a avid follower on your
Oh,
videos.
thank
That's
you so
really
much.
good. And
Okay.
I still I can't believe that you are 60 plus.
No, that we will discuss that at another time. I thought you had a question about this
Yes,
topic.
the
Huh.
question is that uh,
Only one
uh,
question I'm taking right now. Everybody else will take later on. Huh. Hanji,
okay,
yes, sir.
these the package from the farmer field, no, that they use some chemicals on that before packaging. I want to know that.
Sorry, I didn't get your question. What is that?
For example, like vegetables which is grown on the farm field, it may be a
Yes,
tomato.
some amount of irradiation has to be done, but that is not that harmful. See, the ideal situation is you live on your farm, you grow your own vegetables and fruit, and you have fresh produce. Whatever is there on your field, you have it. But that doesn't seem to be practical in today's day and age. So there will be a little bit of slight irradiation, some powder, something they will be putting, but not to such a high level that is going to affect us as it is in packaged products. Okay, because this you can even wash off. You can wash it off. One part, of course, is the fertilizers. We're not going down that lane right today, but the other part is that there will be something to preserve the temperature and the freshness of the produce. There will be something there. Yes, Mahesh.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Yeah. One last question, Mahesh. Yes. Mahesh, should you be unmuted? Okay. Yeah. After this, we'll just keep questions in the end. Okay. If there's any clarity, if you have anything for me to repeat, then you ask those questions right now. Other questions you keep till the end of the conversation. Right. Okay. So let's continue since Mahesh is. Okay, now I think you really have to listen in quite carefully here. So the packaging, as you can see on any product, I mean, if you tonight only, if you go and or tomorrow morning, whenever it is, you go to Amazon and you get a product, you look at the ingredient list. It is always based on a 2000 calorie diet. That means an average 2000 calorie diet if a person has, all the nutrients are expressed as a percentage of the daily value of 2000 calories. If you have 2000, if you're going to have a 2000 calorie diet, then for a 2000 calorie diet, you need to have, let's say I'm giving an example, 200 grams of protein a day. If that is what has been, that is a registered value. I mean, that is something that is a given in the world over, that you need certain percentage of this, certain percentage of carb, protein, fat, etc. Then the nutrients that are shown here, like you see, the cholesterol, the calories, whatever you say, total carbohydrate is 300 grams for 2000 calories and 375 grams for 2500 calories. I mean, this is not given as a percentage, but in most places it is given as a percentage. Okay, so if you look here, for example, you see everything is given as a percentage. Total fat is 12% of the daily value. That means if your diet were of 2000 calories per day, what would the fat content be of those calories? Let's say the fat content would be 500 calories. And this particular product, 1 cup of this particular product is giving you 12% of that 500 calories. Did you get that? Yes? Type yes in the comment section. Type why. Did you all get that? Repeat.
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's say people, you have to have 2000 calories in a day. Is that clear, everyone? Is that clear? Just keep typing C in the comment section. Okay. To have 2000 calories, you are supposed to get 400 calories worth of carbohydrate, 400 calories worth of protein, 300 calories worth of fat. You need to get maybe just 20 grams of 100 grams of calcium. I'm just giving you an example. These are not real things. So if those are the values that are recommended generally for the general public, this particular product is giving you a certain percentage of that 500 calories of protein that you needed. Understood now? Yes or no? 1 minute. Let me stop sharing and explain this again. Okay, now let's say, let's just take 2 items. Okay, supposing I have to have 500 calories at a particular meal. Okay, I have to have 500 calories. In that 500 calories, 200 calories have to be coming to me from protein. Means from a protein food source. Okay, now if I'm making a product, then 200 calories is the total amount of protein I'll have for that meal. But if my packaged product is giving me 10% of that 200 calories of protein for that meal, 10% would be 20 grams. Are you getting it now? People, are you getting this? Yes or no?
Yes.
Huh. So
Yes.
it is proportionate to the daily, that is called the daily value. There are certain daily values that everybody has to get, like everyone has to have 0.7 grams of protein per kg of body weight. Some studies say 0.8 grams of protein per kg of body weight is something everyone has to have. So basis a 2000 calorie diet, this is what you get. But the biggest question is, does everybody have a 2000 calorie diet? Yes or no? Does everyone have a 2000 calorie diet?
No.
Right. So please type in the chat box now. So everybody does not have a 2000 calorie diet, but when you buy the product blindly, you are eating it as though it is for a 2000 calorie person. You might be having 1200 calorie diet on a daily basis, for which then your daily value of percentages will be adjusted for you. You might need to have 3000 calories per day. Then in that case, the higher the calories doesn't mean you have more packaged goods, because along with the daily values, you'll also get the extra fat and the preservatives and so on. So with packaged produce, it's always good to be on the lower side. But if you're lower than 2000 calories, then that one serving will be too much for you. So you might need to have less than one serving. You get the science of this now? Are you getting the science of all this? Right? So always you will have, like, how many servings, you will have how many calories. Now sometimes very tricky, they give it in such fine print, you think the entire packet has so many calories only, but actually it is a serving that has so many calories. Okay, then you look at the percentages here, and anything from in the fat, cholesterol, sodium, any of this part, anything more than 5% is too much. Any produce that has more than 5% is not healthy over here in this part. Okay, and in the carbohydrate and all, more than 20% is fine. This is a 5-20 rule. I'll be talking about this in depth throughout this this discussion, because this is the most important thing you have to know, that saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, sodium, there is a certain rule that all this has to be 5% of daily value. This product is too much. Whatever is here, it is too much. Okay, so the percentage daily value of nutrients is defined as a guide to the nutrients in one serving of food. I think that is quite clear. Your percentage daily value helps to determine if the food is high or low in a nutrient. Some foods may be high in carbohydrate, which is very good. It's an energy bar. Some products might be high in protein, in which case it's a protein bar, you know. So everything varies. It all varies. And, you know, even sugar, even total fats, all of this has a daily value. So as you look at more labels, you will get more clear about it. Anyway, so there are 3 parts to a package. Like, you know, when you compare an apple, there is no front cover, back cover, and all of these things. It is only there in a package. So, you know, always keep that at the back of your mind. So let's look at the front cover. What is this front cover? Can you read? Can we see in this front cover? So it looks so wonderful. You feel as though there is fruit and nut, fresh fruit and nut waiting out there. Can you read that it is crunchy? You know, that is that magnetic factor that, you know, you go straight to this. Then it says no added preservatives right in the front cover. It is saying, so you feel, oh my God, you just look at the front cover and you shop. How many of you do that? You just look at the front cover. Most of us do that. You just look at the front cover and you shop, right? They just look at the front cover and they don't bother to look on the sides or anything else. So you feel like the crunchy is may fruit or nut hai, 5 nutritious grains, 5 delicious inclusions. Ye 5 delicious inclusions, what are they? I have no idea. Mahesh sir, can you put your hand down, please? We'll take questions a little later. Yeah, no added sugar. Then you've got this whole.
My mistake, I didn't know this.
I beg your pardon?
It was by mistake. I didn't raise my hand actually. It was by mistake.
Acha. But the hand is still raised. Somebody's hand is still raised. Huh?
But he don't know how to lower the hand.
Okay. Okay. Huh. So you have these beautiful advertising images. Okay, please mute yourselves, everybody. So you see here also some more examples. Can you see that? There are some more. This is crunchy oats and honey made with the whole oats, Nature's Valley. And the product lasts for 6 months. It has a 6-month shelf life. You look at Baggeries also, almonds. If you look at what these wonderful words, high fiber, goodness of nuts, 40% oats, all natural ingredients, more than 40% oats, multigrain. So these are all ways to sort of, you know, get you. I mean, if I'm looking, go to a vegetable, to a fruit shop, no fruit has to tell me I'm 100% fruit, you know, nobody has to say that. I can just see it. But here they have to go on and on saying this because all these things are there, but there are many other things that are being covered. Okay, so you have to be very careful about this. Now let's look at the nutrition facts panel. Again, how do you go about looking at the nutrition facts panel? First, you start right at the top. You have to be very clear about the calories in the total package and how many servings are there in that container. That is really critical because that will tell you how many calories per serving. That will tell you how many calories per serving. Okay, so you check the calories. Okay, and here you have, the quick, you will have all this coming first. You will have, this is the order in which they normally come: sodium, cholesterol, trans fat, saturated fat, and total fat, 12 grams, which is 18%, 15%, 10%, 20%. 5% or and less is low over here. 20% or more is high. So these are all, as you can see, less than 20%, but not low enough. So if you're somebody who has high cholesterol, if you have high triglycerides, if you're overweight, if you have high blood pressure, then you clearly can't have this package, because it has too much of saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, and so on. You can't, this is not going to be really good for you. And if you have it, you have to have just a quarter of a serving, right? But on the other hand, if you're active and you're much younger and you've gone somewhere, you've forgotten your dabba, and if you have to have it, then maybe you can have it, but be sure that you go home and have a better, you have a generally healthy lifestyle, then this small thing will not make a difference, right? So potassium, carbohydrate, fiber, you should get lots of this, more than as much as possible is fine. Okay, and then normally they give you all this vitamin A, C, iron, calcium. This also, the higher the better. But the first, these ingredients, the total fat, the saturated fat, the trans fat, the cholesterol, and the sodium should be on less than 5% if you have a health condition, and definitely less than 20%. I would say stick to a 15% guideline, just for everybody. That makes a lot of sense. One second, where am I? Yeah. So let me just summarize once again the 7 steps to reading food labels. Okay. So like I said, pay attention to the serving size, number of calories. Think about the calories you are likely to intake and then decide how many servings are good for you. Now somebody is asking, how do I know how many calories I take? That really depends on you and what you have discussed either with your nutritionist or your dietitian. As a ballpark rule, I would say that women should have not less have between 1200 and 1500 calories per day, not less than 1200. And Indian men go to 1800 to 2200 calories. That is a broad stroke I can give you, but it's all very individualized. If you're healthy weight and normal weight, then it really is a question of your basal metabolic rate plus the activities that you do. And to calculate your basal metabolic rate, if you're a man, if you're male, you multiply your weight in kgs by 24. You get your metabolic rate. Uske upar 500 calories laga do, and that will be your total calorie intake if you're a relatively active person. If you're more active, you might have to add more. But roughly your weight in kgs multiplied by 24. And if you're a woman, your weight in kgs multiplied by 23. You can note this down. This is a simple, back of the hand rule to calculate how many calories you need in a day. And if you're active, add some more calories. Okay, so limit all this. Now I want to talk to you about this trans fat. Can you see this? 0.5 grams of trans fat can be misleading. This is a very, 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 very important consideration here. Because what the laws have said by the FDA and the FSAAI, I forget the entire thing, is that even as long as there is less than 0.49 grams of trans fat, you can say 0. Even if there is 0.49, if there is less than 0.5 grams of trans fat in one serving, you can say there is 0 trans fat. That is what goes on the label. So now supposing one serving you have less than 0.5 grams of trans fat, but What if you have 2 and 3 servings? It becomes 1.5 grams of trans fat. Now, trans fat is the reason for high cholesterol. Trans fat is the reason for getting, a more carcinogens in your body. Trans fat is the reason for heart health. It is not something that the body can handle. It blocks the arteries, prevents the blood flow from going to your heart and to all of your organs and including your brain, and it does increase high blood pressure. It is something that has to be avoided, and the labeling agencies are just slipping it in. So even if your trans fat is 0.5 grams, they can say it is 0. Okay, so you look at, let's say you get a packet and you say each serving may there's 0 trans fat in everything, and you have 3 of those, you've had 1.5 grams of trans fat. Are you understanding the invisible nature of this food, packaged food? There is a whole invisible story to it. So this is what you need to be absolutely 100% careful of. Okay, is there anybody who wants me to repeat this? Trans fat, have you understood, people? Have you all understood that? Very, very important. If you just take this one thing away from here now, just look at the trans fat in the food and you will be fine. You don't even need to look at other things. So if anybody is saying 1 gram of trans fat, it will mean 1. Repeat, madam. Okay. So let me just take you to a label. Come, let me just take you to the previous label. Can you see here? Achha, over here they are saying 3 grams of trans fat. 3 grams of trans fat, they are saying, that means there's 3 grams. That very often you will see that there is 0. And this doesn't have a percentage. Can you see that? Isn't it interesting that trans fat ke liye percentage of daily value hai hi nahi? There is no percentage for trans fat because trans fat is not supposed to be there in your diet. There is no daily value for it. So without adding that trans fat, the taste factor, bliss factor does not come in. It makes it crunchy, it makes it khasta. The khari biscuit that you're having, it just melts in your mouth. All that comes with the dalda and the vanaspati and all that is trans fat, right? There is no daily value for it, means you're not supposed to have it. But the agencies, FDA and FSAAI, have said that even if the product has, or the serving size has just 0.5 grams of trans fat, okay, then it can say that it has 0 trans fat. They feel that that is a negligible amount. Now, suppose in this serving, the calorie, if supposing the calories per serving were just 100 in this product, suppose you had a packet with 5 products and each biscuit had just 100 calories and there was 0 grams of trans fat, means that there's 0.49 grams of trans fat in it, and you had 10 biscuits. How many would you have? So much trans fat. Maybe if Satya sir is here, we can actually go online and check this out. Let's do it in the end, okay? So we were here, right? So now let's look at the sodium also. Sodium, there is a lot of extra sodium in packaged foods because sodium gives it that taste. That's one thing. The other thing it does is it preserves. It's a very, very effective preservative. It preserves the freshness and the naturalness of whatever it is that is there inside this product. But the problem with sodium is that it increases your blood pressure because sodium attracts water. Sodium attracts a lot of water. So, when you have a lot of packaged products, you will feel bloated because there's a lot of water that is being accumulated with every sodium and every extra trans fat molecule. Every molecule of sodium is held in about 9 or 10 molecules of water. So what the research has said, that if the amount of sodium that is safe enough to have, if at all, is should be equal to the number of calories of the serving size. So if the serving size is 100 calories, then the sodium should not be more than 100 milligrams. Okay. If the calorie of a particular serving size is 150, then the sodium should be less than 150 milligrams. That 1:1 ratio is decent. It's decent, but more is just not acceptable. Okay, more is just not acceptable. Okay. Yeah, we've done the 520 rule. Now the biggest part is this ingredient list. The ingredient list is the biggest part. Okay, I'll come to the ingredient list, but let me just go through this thing. So, if somebody is having 1600 calories, then everything in that package produce, which is for 2000 calories, has to be adjusted to 1600 calories. So that everything has to be made 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. You have to do that and see what is your real serving size. What is your real serving size? Okay, so that is how you decide what kind of what is the amount of food you should be having. Because if you have 2 serving sizes and you think it's only 100 calories, if you just go by calories and you have 2-3 serving sizes, then you will be having too much of so many things. The sodium is okay for one is okay for one thing, but the saturated fat, the trans fats especially, will just go on and on and on and on, increasing. Eventually, doing too much of this really hardens the arteries, doesn't allow the blood to flow, and doesn't let you feel 100% of yourself. Better than doing all this is just grab, 24 almonds also you can have. There is no problem. If you're leading a healthy lifestyle, you can have ghee, almonds, and such delicious foods. But if you're going to have packaged foods and then you have ghee, then that's not allowed. You have to choose either or. You have to choose one of the two, in my opinion. You can't have both, because then it becomes overload of calories and overload of fat. Yeah, ghee works best with natural nutrition. It does not work well when you're having biscuits also, khari biscuit also, pizza also, pasta also. It will not work. So this is where a lot of us go wrong. We do Monday to Friday, we have ghee and everything healthy, and Saturday, Sunday, we go off board completely. At some stage, I'll share with you the marked difference between Monday, Friday calorie intake versus Saturday, Sunday. And these people exercise, they have low calories, they do everything, but Saturday, Sunday, they totally go other route. And as a result of that, they never feel like, it's enough. They never feel that whatever diet they're on is good enough for them. So this is a very important point for us to note. Okay, so yeah. Basically, like I said, keep track of your estimated calories based on your basal metabolic rate. Somebody wanted me to repeat that once more. If you are male, you take your body weight in kgs. So let's say you are 80 kilos is your body weight. 80 kilos, you multiply by the number 24. Can somebody do that for me and give me the answer? 80 kilos multiplied by 24 is how much? Anybody can answer? What is 80 multiplied by 24? Okay, so while you do that, I'll tell the women what it is. For women, you take your weight in kgs and multiply it by the number 23. That gives you your basal metabolic rate. That means how many calories you need. Basal metabolic rate is how many calories you need to function and survive in this world. You need calories for breathing, for digestion, for changing food energy to chemical energy, to electrical energy, to mechanical energy. You need calories for that. Apart from that, you need calories to think, grow, be productive, and you need calories to be active. So basically, if you're overweight, you stick to the BMR, that is how many calories you typically need. Okay. So once you've identified that, then if the calories in the product that you are eating is more than half your estimated calories for that day, then the food is a bad choice. If your estimated calories for the day is 1200 and the product that you're taking is going to give you 600 calories, then that is not a good choice, because then you only have 600 calories worth of natural nutrition left to do. Okay, people, you only have 600 worth of natural. Yeah, if Anne is saying if my weight is 60 kgs, I'm female, then I multiply by 23. Yes, that's right. Exactly. You all got the idea, you got the gist, and then you round it off. You round it off. Okay. So general rule of thumb is 40 calories is low. So if whatever you're going to eat is worth 40 calories, that's fine. Seems to be okay. 100 calories is moderate. Anything more than 400 calories is high. Okay. How many of you are finding all of this information really useful? Type useful in the comment section. How many of you are finding all of this information very useful? Is it useful and helpful? People, how are you finding? Yeah, you're finding, yeah, I'm glad. Okay. Yeah, so this is going to help you to make intelligent choices going forward. I'm not saying don't have packaged foods. I'm not saying don't do any of this, but it is how you do it. Okay. So you all know how many calories you need. We said we would do a nutrition audit. Yes, Anne, what is your question?
Hi, ma'am. Actually, so my weight is 63 kgs and I multiplied it by 23. So it comes around like 1500
Yeah,
calories.
that's your BMR. That is how many calories you need.
Yeah. So, but my
Yeah.
question is, isn't like 2000 calories suggested for an average adult and 1500
Yeah, you have
calories
to
are
see, now we can't get into those kind of nitty-gritties, because depending on your activity, you can add 300, 400 calories, or if you need to lose weight, you can even cut 300-400 calories from this.
will it be like sufficient if I cut?
Let's focus on the packaged products, and we are talking about calories vis-a-vis the packaged products. So this personal question we can take at the end of this thing.
Okay,
yeah?
okay.
Yeah, this is, I'm just saying that if this is your BMR, then you should not have more than 40 calories, which is a rule of thumb, which is low, 100 is high. Anything more than 400 is not good. Whatever is your BMR calories, the product should not give you half of that calories. That is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
When we do the course, we will get more into detail about the BMR and the calories per person and so on. Okay, so let's get into, yeah. So like, again, I think I'm saying this again and again so that you understand it. Saturated fat, which is very thick and, it sort of blocks the arteries. It should be really low, less than 1 gram or 15% calories from saturated fat. You can write this down. Your saturated fat in one serving, not the entire packet, should be less than 1 gram and less than 15% per calorie. So yeah, actually it can even be, if it is for the whole packet, it'll be really good. Trans fat, zero amount. You need zero amount. Manufacturers can list 0 grams if the product has less than 0.5 grams per serving. So they have to list it per serving. You understand? They'll have to list it per serving. It's very clever, because if they give it for the entire product, they will have to say 3 grams of saturated fat if there are 6 of these. You get it? So they just say it's per serving. And cholesterol is also listed in milligram. Low cholesterol is anything less than 20 milligrams or less. And, and it should come, if it comes from animal products. As always, the dietary fiber, the carbohydrate, the protein, the macronutrients, they can be on the higher side. There is no problem. We've already covered this, right? So 5% or less of sodium, fats, trans fats, and cholesterol, just make, SFTC, 5% or less of sodium, fats, trans fats, and cholesterol. 20% of is very high for this, but 20% of macronutrients and minerals, 20% of daily value. Remember, we spoke about daily value is good. Okay, so this brings us to the ingredient list. Now, in fine print, in fine print on any label right at the bottom, they have this ingredient list which they have to write. They are supposed to write everything. Now, what these manufacturers have done is that there are different chemical names for sugar, which you and I don't know. Okay, you and I don't know. So they just add that in, but they are filling in the tick boxes of the agencies. The high fructose corn syrup has so many different names, and you don't know that. Okay, so basically they start by listing the weight of whatever are the ingredients in decreasing order. So if whole wheat bread is the first, and if the so first you will have whole wheat, then you will have refined flour, then you will have this, then gradually you will start getting into the different kinds of sugars. Other names for sugar, you can see corn syrup, maltose, dextrose, all sorts of names. There's so many chemical names that they go on adding and changing, and you feel fructose and glucose and all looks very innocent. It isn't really. And then they start adding other chemically sounding names which you cannot even pronounce. Very hard for people. If there are lots of names in the ingredient list that sound like a chemistry lab, then you know that you are in for a highly chemical product. Okay, you know that you're in for a highly chemical product. But if you're going to buy atta, let's say, there's only one ingredient, then you're safe. We are buying lots of packaged foods. No, we are buying atta, I'm buying oats, I'm buying things which all come in packages. But as long as there is one ingredient in it, rice, wheat, atta, nachni ka atta, bajre ka atta, dal, all of that is a one ingredient product, which is safe, which is good, right? But if you take something like a milk, you take Tetra Pak milk, in the milk label itself, there is trans fat, saturated fat, everything, sodium as well, because it has a 3-month shelf life. 3-month shelf life mein to sodium hona hi hai. Not possible. Chemically, it is not stable. The milk will not stay in that package for so long without sodium. And that's why they say the moment you open it up, you have to finish it in 2 days. Because then once oxygen from the air goes into that package, it becomes a fresh thing. But before that, they are creating all of this processed food chemicals that prevent it from spoiling. So now, just as an aside, yeah. So any questions? This is all the technical part that I have covered. This is a technical part I've covered. Any questions?
First, I have a request to all of you friends. I hope you have liked the webinar. So those who want to get notified on your personal WhatsApp number, okay, the webinar is going to happen. Whenever free webinar is going to happen, you will be notified automatically. So for that, you have to click the second link. And if you want to get recording of the particular session, you have to click the first link. So this second link is most important because tomorrow also we are having a very good session, okay? And they will learning a lot of other things also. That's why I request all of you, if you want to get notified on your personal WhatsApp number, fill this second link you should fill. If you want recording, please fill the first link. And we will wait for 1 minute, then we'll proceed. Till then, I request all of you, if you want the webinar recording, it will be automatically sent to your WhatsApp number. Yes. So till then, please, I request all of you, just fill it right now. Okay, it is up to you which you want to fill. Okay, if you want to get notified, because sometimes WhatsApp will be not able to send the message in right time. That's happened. So it automatically will be getting the notification on your personal window. Okay. So secondly, I have important announcement again. The day after tomorrow, we have a session on online brand building and online course creation. It would be at 9 p.m. approx that you can join. Yes. Now you have a question. Madhuram, are you in the class right now, ma'am? No. First of all, I want all of you. Yes. I want all of you guys, have you enjoyed the session? Please, I request just open your video and have a clap for her, ma'am, please. Okay. I request, please, a small gesture from your side. Okay. 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 I request, please. Apna video खोल के can I can have small clap for her? Okay, just as
Thank you
gesture.
so much.
Okay. I request, please. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Look at this. At 60s, people are on the on the sometimes chair. At 60s, she's means inspiring. I think we all should learn for her. At least means when I met her the first time, she came in a webinar. The webinar name was online course creation, and she has shown the biceps. And I look myself. How is she showed his gym photos? And I'm like, okay. Yes, which way to best? You're discussing all the trick, all the factors also. Now, the questions are open to all of you. Now you have the unmute right also. But before that, I want please fill the form so that you will be notified for the next session. On Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday, we conduct sessions at 9:15. Our policy is simple. We do not pitch anything. 100% time if you get, means whatever time is there, half an hour, 1 hour, you will be getting only one thing: value, 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 value. No sales at all. Okay, because you are here you are giving us valuable time. It's not all about the money. Okay. So the 3 days we conduct session, we call experts from the different domains, maybe health, wealth. Okay, means any people means who want to add something, but condition is simple. You cannot sell anything in that's it. You can have a form, okay, number, that's it. No sales pitch. Now, if you have any question, you can ask right now. Please, Adri ma'am. We have 10 minutes for the question, then we'll move on. Yes.
Right.
Hello, madam. Is it required to have only lunch? I mean, rice during the lunch and night time not to take rice?
It really depends on you, na. Depending on how much rice you have, also what is your health of your gut. Are you diabetic? You know, nobody makes generalized rules, and no food is good and no food is bad except for processed food. Natural food is all good for you. So it really depends on you and how much other things you're having. What is the fiber you're having? Are you having a lot of vegetables, dal, dahi? Then you have a little bit of rice. You can have it both the times. No worries. Rice actually is very good, gives very good sleep also at night.
Exactly, but
And if you cook it
carbohydrate.
in the slow cooker, even better. You will have less calories and more nutrients. That's the whole goal. Yeah.
Cholesterol
Yes,
will be
Mahesh,
increased
sir.
and carbohydrate.
I beg your pardon? क्या बोल
Ma'am,
रहे थे?
how to measure the food we are eating for the whole day?
So you're saying your everyday रोज का खाना.
Yes, ma'am.
You get these digital weighing scales. It's 200 rupees on Amazon. Digital weighing scales are 200 rupees. You measure it for. So let's say roti ke liye, how do you measure? You have to, whoever is making the roti, you have to say आटा जो है ना जो whatever एक रोटी का जो गोल what is it called? क्या कहते हैं उनको उसको?
डो
वो 30 grams होना चाहिए. 30 grams. ठीक है. तो एक दो बार if you do it, then you know, अंदाजे से it becomes okay. You don't have to do it all the time. You do it religiously for 1 week. For 1 week you measure and you do it religiously, and after that you get a rough idea, na?
मैम जनरली एक थाली के अंदर लगभग कितनी कैलोरीज होती है? हाउ मेनी कैलोरीज इन इट?
ये वेरी इंडिविजुअल सवाल है ना. नॉर्मली ऐसे है कि इट शुड नॉट बी मोर देन 400-500 calories maximum. So depending on if you have a high fiber meal, ज्यादा सब्जी होगी, less carbs होंगे, तो it will be about 200 calories. But if you're going to have a lot of dal, rajma, that the calories go up over there. Okay. So don't be calorie focused at all. But remember that anything more than 500 calories, the body produces insulin irrespective of whether it's healthy or unhealthy. So you're not supposed to eat too much. See, the body has checks and balances, because If you eat 2,000-3,000 calories at one time, it will not be able to digest it. Unless you are like Michael Phelps and you swim and swim and swim. When he was in the Olympic team, he used to eat like some 20-30 pizzas and all that. Because he used to swim so much, he could burn out that energy. No? I told you, as you eat, you burn the energy. The more important than the calorie intake. See, I want to see these kind of questions changing now. Not how many calories are coming in, but how can I use the calories that I'm eating? That is my philosophy. If I eat calories, I have to use them. Otherwise, no sense. Right? The calories, even healthy calories, will become into fat. If you don't use it, you lose it. Hanji.
Next question. Next question. Okay. And thanks a lot for the wonderful audience. You have given a very valuable time for. Yes, Mahesh iPhone. Yes, ask your question, sir.
सर इसका रिकॉर्डिंग मिलेगा क्या? मैं 2 दिन नहीं अटेंड कर पाऊंगा.
रिकॉर्डिंग में आपको लिंक दिया है, आप भर सकते हैं इसको. रिकॉर्डिंग मिल
भर दिया
जाएगा
मैंने. दैट आई फिल्ड इट ऑलरेडी.
ओके, आपको लिंक मिलेगा, रिकॉर्डिंग मिलेगा सर. ठीक है.
आज नहीं, जो आगे 7 दिन का रिकॉर्डिंग आगे जो ट्रेनिंग होने वाला.
Yes, recording is there, sir. Up to 10 days you will get the recording, sir.
Okay, thank you.
So now, thanks a lot for your wonderful time, and we try our best to deliver the to give you value of your time. And any point of time, if you think we need some advice, we have to improve our skills, presentation skills. Plus, let me know, please. Yes. So. Namaskaram, Vanakkam, good night to all of you. And Madhur ma'am, thanks a lot for the margadarshan to me. Okay, you're on mute, ma'am. Okay. Yes.
Okay, sir, you're not feeling good, मेरे ख्याल से.
अब मेरा गला
जी खराब लग रहा है.
Okay.
Take
So
care, please.
I'm trying my best. Yes. So second, tomorrow will be the last session of the map. Can join. Topic would be a bit different. Okay. On 26 will be different. Yes. Secondly, how many have kids? घर पे कितने बच्चे हैं आप लोगों के, please? Okay. We are soon starting a series on memory and speed reading. Okay. And it would be in the afternoon or morning, and there the school student will be joining. Maybe government school students mostly. If you want anybody, okay, just let me know. Okay. This whole session we will be working with the different schools. So I request all of you, those who want, they can join. Secondly, there is someone who want to learn digital marketing in depth. Okay, absolutely free of